up in their helicopter with them to get a look at the situation at this bridge right now. Take a look to 11,000 migrants Mexico into Del Rio right here, and they are waiting underneath the international bridge, waiting to be processed by Border Patrol. Look at the mass of people down there. This time 2 days ago, there were just over 4,000 people. There are now upwards of 11,000. We are talking nearly a tripling of the numbers in just 48 hours or so. You can get a real good perspective from the air right here of how many people are constantly streaming in. Our pilot's going to take us up this dirt path a little bit here, so you can see why this crowd here just keeps getting so much bigger. These are mostly Haitian immigrants, but take a look at this as we move up the Rio Grande right here. That Mexican town that you're looking across the river, that is Ciudad Acuña. That is the Mexican city where all these migrants are gathering. And you can see they're using this dam right here to walk across the Rio Grande and enter the United States illegally. They then use a dirt path that's right below us, and they stream into the international bridge area. We are talking thousands of people showing up every single day here. The problem is what's happening, the reason why they're all congregated underneath that bridge is Border Patrol doesn't have enough agents to process these folks. They're completely overwhelmed. Their holding facilities are completely over capacity. Brian, take a look there. You got more people crossing the Rio Grande right there coming through this dirt. This is non-stop, guys. This is a non-stop trail of migrants who are crossing the Rio Grande in multiple areas here. We're going to have a pretty wild shot coming up to the Rio Grande right here in a moment. This is a steady line of hundreds of people. Brian, I don't know if you can pan up there into the Rio Grande. So look at that. That is a steady trail of hundreds of people crossing from Mexico as we speak right now, arriving into the United States illegally. Wow, that is a lot of people down there. And what we've been noticing is these folks are allowed to go back and forth between the United States and Mexico. There are no Border Patrol agents down there. There are no immigration agents on the Mexican side. It almost looks like it's a water park down there. People are playing in the water, just going back and forth between the United States. We're heading back over to the bridge now where you can see this is where they're walking to. And this situation is completely deteriorating. Several Border Patrol sources who are on the ground working that bridge down there tell me that this situation is, quote, out of control. They need help. They say there are not even enough porta potties or food or anything down there to house all these people. You can see they're now setting up tents. They've got their laundry hanging up. This is literally turning into almost some sort of it looks like a large refugee camp that is being built essentially underneath an international bridge right here in the United States. And the problem is Border Patrol sources and City of Del Rio sources are telling us they're hearing there are upwards of 10,000 more migrants who are on the way right now. And that we see why they're saying that, because if we can go over the Mexican neighborhood here in a moment, what you're going to see is in Ciudad Acuña, we're watching a bunch of taxi cabs pull up in a neighborhood and dropping off these migrants. We're going to show that to you in a moment here when we get over it, but it's pretty wild to see. There are multiple spots at the Rio Grande here where hundreds of people are crossing over constantly. We're going to pass over on the left side here in a moment, but guys, this is what we were looking at with our Fox drone before it was grounded. So again, I want to thank these Texas DPS troopers for letting us up here get this perspective. We're going to be approaching this Mexican neighborhood now, and what you're going to see off to a left here, Brian, if we can eventually... Okay, so what you look at here is there's people on the other side of the river, and then off to the right, I can't get the perfect angle, but there is a neighborhood down in there where there are a constant stream of taxi cabs pulling up, vans, taxi cabs, and migrants are just getting out with all of their gear, and they're crossing this dam here, walking right across the Rio Grande, and you can see this happening in real time, guys. I mean, there are hundreds of people down there going back and forth, and they are all walking over to that international bridge. And we've seen Border Patrol bringing bus loads in and bus loads out of migrants, trying to take them to other holding facilities in the area, but they're not making a dent in these numbers. The last numbers we've been told are at least 10,500 people underneath that bridge. So guys, it is incredible to see this perspective up here. We hear the administration say the border is closed, there's extreme progress being made. This does not look like a closed border from the air. This is hundreds of people streaming in every minute here, and they're all going to this international bridge. Pretty remarkable footage from up here, guys. We'll send it back to you.
You know, Bill, when you look at the number of people who are there under the bridge, it would rival a lot of small Texas towns. And as you mentioned, 10,000 more on the way. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has tried to close off 6 border crossings, but closing the border crossing doesn't really do much or have much of an effect if they're walking across the Rio Grande. And you were saying that the Customs and Border Protection, the Border Patrol, are overwhelmed simply by the number of people who are there now. And I'm wondering, Bill, how long are those people going to be there? And if Border Patrol is already overwhelmed, what's going to happen in the days ahead?
John, that's a great question. We have no idea how long these people are going to be there. You can see there are some Border Patrol vans down there trying to pick some of them up and take them out. But it doesn't matter because, they take a group of 20 out, you got another group of 200 showing up in the next 20 minutes or so. I mean, I'm looking at this group by the Rio Grande here. This has been happening all morning long. Sources on the ground, we're not allowed to get in here. We are not allowed to drive in with what you're looking at here. We have no access here. We are not able to get there with our vehicles. The only way we can see this is from the air. And again, our Fox News drones have been grounded by the FAA. They put a TFR up in the area saying it's for security reasons. But again, thankfully, Texas DPS is bringing us up here. You can see the line of porta potties they've set up there. It truly does look like a large camp just being set up underneath this international bridge. And unfortunately for the overstretched border agents down there, this situation looks like it's going to get worse before it gets better because this stream of people is not stopping.
Yeah, well, it's pretty clear by the fact that the Texas DPS took you up in the helicopter after what happened earlier today, Bill, that somebody wants to make sure that those pictures get out to the American populace so that we can all see what's going on down there on the border. Bill.